In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 crucial tips to help improve your fighting both in ranked and tournaments. If you listen and take into account everything I share with you in this video, I guarantee that your fighting will improve as a result. If you do enjoy, please do drop a like and subscribe, as I'm trying to hit 20,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. Okay, so through the course of this video, I'm going to be sharing with a lot of information with you, so make sure that you do take notes if you are serious about improving your fighting. Starting off with tip number 1, it's going to be always staying active within fights. Now this seems pretty straightforward, but let me explain why it's important. Now it is important within fighting, that you avoid playing really slow when in the initial stages of a fight. This is normally the most important part of a fight. Now the main reason for this is that if you play slow and only, let's say, sit in a box for example, it allows the enemy to apply pressure onto you. Now this becomes a problem because it's often a lot easier in a fight to be the aggressive and more confident player rather than defensive and also more scared player. Also, if you are constantly moving and playing different angles within a fight, it can make it a lot more difficult for your opponent to track you throughout the engagement. This then means that you have a higher chance of being able to catch your opponent when they're not on guard and catch them with a shot like a big shotgun shot, whilst also avoiding becoming fully pieced, just allowing you to have that advantage and edge within the fight. It's just crucial that you stay moving in order to not allow your enemy to easily track what your next movement will be. Now for tip number 2, I want to talk about something which I'm going to call applying constant pressure. Now applying pressure to an enemy within a fight immediately puts them on the back foot, as they may feel as though you are the stronger and better player within the fight. A lot of fights within Fortnite are based around one key factor. This of course is confidence, because you see, the more confident player within a fight will genuinely win most fights, which is how you see people who successfully W-key drop massive super high elimination games. Now once you deal initiating damage onto your enemy at the start of a fight, it is extremely important that you don't give your enemy time to heal. If you allow your enemy time to heal, you lose your advantage within the fight, and this also leads to the fight ending up taking longer. Now the problem with the fight taking longer is that it leads to an increased chance of being third-partied, and you being scuffed even if you do end up winning both your original fight and the fight from the third party. You see, it's crucial that you don't give your enemy this important time, and are always applying pressure, whether this is just spraying their wall throughout the course of the engagement in order to put pressure onto your enemy. Tip number 3 is very important when it comes to some more long and dragged out fights, and this is being patient and waiting for your opponent to make a mistake. You see, in almost 99% of fights within Fortnite, the reason a fight is either won or lost is due to a crucial mistake being made by one of the players. You see, if no one makes a mistake, the fight is likely to get to a standstill, but when your opponent dies, for example, because you kill them, or you die, it's because either your opponent or you made a mistake. This mistake could be as simple as double pickaxing against someone's wall, which obviously they could then make an edit out of and pump you in the face. So it's important that when you are playing patient within your own gameplay, whether this is you in a box or you're just applying pressure onto the enemy, whether this is spraying from a couple box away or diagonal box fighting them, that you are very patient, because your enemy will get more impatient and they will end up making a mistake, whether this is opening out on you, like making an edit, or moving in a predictable way which you can then pre-piece them and allow you to get the kill. Don't rush your fight and be the one that makes that crucial mistake. Simply wait for your opponent to make the mistake first. Tip number 4 of today's video is all going to be about ending fights quickly, and a specific technique which you guys can use to do this. If you haven't already, you need to make sure you learn the momentum phasing. Now the momentum phasing is talked about a lot in the community, and it is very important for W keying. Many people try and practice this technique in creative because you can practice phasing into the box, but why actually is it so important? Well, if you can phase into your opponent's box when they're holding the wall, just because you timed the shot or pickaxe right, it allows you to surprise your enemy, and immediately you can hit them with a shot which they're not expecting. This could also be really important when your enemy is weaker than you. Say for example you're like 150 and your enemy is like 20 white. If you simply phase into the box, place a cone in their box, you can finish the fight off very quickly, and it's something that if you watch a lot of pro gameplay you will see them use quite a lot. Now there is multiple different ways which you can train this. You can obviously get someone into your creative lobby and try and practice it with them, but Polarized has a training section for this on his creative map, which I've been using a lot and I would highly recommend it. Now the map code for this will be put up on the screen. It's 0806 1242 3877, and it is very good to help practice this mechanic. But overall you want to make sure you learn this and learn the timing on it in order to successfully phase into someone's box easily, allowing you to then finish fights quicker. Now for my final tip of today's video, I feel this is possibly the most important one, and it's about still playing aggressive even when you have been hit down or you are weak. Now you see, the reasoning behind this is because let's say you go to fight in the initial engagement and your opponent hits you for like a max headshot and you're down to like 30 HP, right? Okay, so you're going to immediately try and run away, box up and get your heals off, but while you're doing this your opponent is likely to be trying to apply constant pressure to you. Now if you let your opponent apply constant pressure to you without trying to damage them back, you're going to burn through your mats and you don't have infinite mats. Eventually you are going to have to fight your opponent. But a strategy which you can use to try and deal damage onto your opponent whilst you're low HP is something as simple as just a pre-fire. If you can pre-fire and catch your opponent off guard with a nice little 80 or 100 shotgun tag, even if it's just a little bit of damage when they're not expecting it, this can cause your opponent to slow down their pressure because they also want to box up and heal. Now during this time you are able to then box up, whether it be a snail technique like I showed in my recent video where you make 4 boxes and you simply sit and heal. You can do something like this and you can get your health up. Now this could give time for a third party to come in and fight your opponent, or it just allows you to get your health up so when your opponent does eventually push you again, you are much better and healed up. Remember, it is important that you don't have infinite mats within fights, so at some point you have to deal opposing damage back onto your enemy, so you might as well try and do it in the form of a pre-fire or something which will cause your enemy to stop W keying you when you are weak. Thanks guys very much for listening to today's video. I really hope it has helped you out. If it has, make sure you've dropped a like, subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out from me.